The sound you are hearing right now is just a fabrication of your brain. The brain is not a part that understands the world, but it is actually a machine that creates its own version of reality. It interprets changes around you and wants to survive. So, if we see here, this is the boundary between what is inside and what is outside of your existence. Outside, you are surrounded by air molecules, and inside, you have a device called air, aka auditory system. This is the starting point of creation of sound. When some change occurs outside, let's say someone blows a trumpet, the force, the energy from this trumpet is then transferred to these air molecules. So when I say energy is transferred to these air molecules, which one of the following do you imagine to be? Number one or number two? A lot of people do imagine this, number one, where this growing wave is sound itself, at least in visualization, or they may imagine it to be like a shock wave. This is how our biases work. But this wave could only exist if there were smaller particles. But since air molecules make up the medium themselves, the reality after blowing of trumpet is just collision and movement of air molecules, nothing else. But now our story changes once this wave of movement gets transferred through the air molecules and reaches the inner air, where it converts the movement into electrical impulses. These electrical impulses travel through the nerve. If I imagine the nerve and subsequently parts of the brain as a neural network, then this part would be the initial part, the sensory layer that converts movement of the air molecules into nerve impulses. These intermediate layers would represent auditory association areas of the brain that computes the signal, and then the output would be propagation of this impulse into higher centers of the brain that are responsible for memory, emotions, and analysis. At any point, you hear a sound. If we rearrange this neural network, activation of different neuronal patterns makes you hear what you are hearing, which in neuroscience is called process of perception. Here's a fact: we don't know how perception works. Why just after activation of bunch of neurons you are hearing a sound? What this creation of sound means is that every outside phenomenon has an inside equivalent reflection, a language developed to understand what's happening outside, if you will. For example, when you are hearing this sound, you hear the sound that has higher and higher pitch, and when you see it in a waveform, it has increasing frequency. And when you are hearing this another sound, you have a sound that's increasing in loudness. In a waveform, it's increasing amplitude. So outside, if the molecules are vibrating as shown here, if you increase the frequency of this, what you are going to hear is a sound with higher pitch. That is a sharper sound. But as I said before, the sound is what your head is producing to understand the molecules are moving at a higher frequency. So, this higher pitch is a language developed by your brain to understand higher frequency movement, collisions, changes in the environment. Are you getting me now?
Wait a minute!
Doesn't this make every senses a language or kind of unreal? Yeah, actually. This would make senses like taste, smell, and even vision just languages developed by brain to understand its surrounding and its changes. This is what sparks the debate of what is real and what is not, made famous by the philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer, and believed what we experience is just a filtered representation of our senses and our mind. Understanding this leads to exploration of higher philosophies like nihilism, solipsism, and skepticism, which questions reality and questions if we can ever know what is real and what is not. But in my opinion, these philosophies, like we did, demarcate outside and inside and don't count inside, that is us, our mind, and we as organisms, to be part and extension of this universe. And if we do see ourselves as an extension of this universe, maybe we can come to this conclusion that even the sound that we hear is just in our head, is not a phenomenon of outside, it's just a phenomenon of our mind and brain. Why should it not be real? Hi, these videos take a lot of work, and thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe if you liked it. It means a lot and helps me keep making these videos. Bye bye.